Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Nicole Campea.
Even though the sun is hiding today, that won't stop the warm temperature, but later this week you will need your winter coat. Here's your complete 5-day weather forecast. Today will be cloudy with a high of 7 and a low of 4, but be prepared for showers tonight. Tomorrow we will see rain and higher temperatures with a high of 9 and a low of 0. On Saturday, there will finally be some sun with some scattered clouds, a low of -7 and a high of 1. On Sunday, there's a 30% chance of showers and temperatures will continue to drop with a high of -4 and a low of -7. And to start your week on Monday, we will finally see some snow with a low of -6 and a high of 1. That's all for your 5-day weather forecast. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Nicole. Turning now to national and international news. 3 women have been rescued from a home in South London where they have been held captive, some for more than 30 years. As of 2:30 this morning, a 69-year-old woman from Malaysia, a 57-year-old from Ireland, and a 30-year-old from Britain are now free. A man and woman have been arrested, are now in custody as part of an investigation to slavery and domestic servitude. The detective inspector who announced the women's release says they are all now in safe houses and receiving counseling.
Court documents released Wednesday say the RCMP believe the Prime Minister's office played a larger role in the Duffy scandal than previously thought. The documents say the RCMP believe there is no evidence Prime Minister Harper knew the details of the $90,000 check given to Senator Duffy by Nigel Wright, the PM's chief of staff at the time. The RCMP also believe the PMO instructed senior Conservative senators to alter Duffy's Senate audit to reflect more favorably on Duffy. Investigators also have over 2,000 emails between members of the PMO and Duffy, which may be of evidentiary value. The allegations in the documents have not been proven in court and no charges have been laid.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper is in Lac Mégantic today to announce funding following a train derailment this past summer. A runaway train carrying crude oil went up in flames and hit the small town in July, killing 47 people and causing damage to the town. Harper says the federal government will pay 50% of the decontamination costs. The province and federal government contributed $60 million each to help with the cleanup and relocation of residents. Harper's visit comes a day after the government announced it will force railways to provide cities with information about dangerous goods being transported through their community.
Queen's Park announced a new global trade strategy. Trade Minister Eric Hoskins jetted off to Calgary to continue discussion about the new trade office in Alberta he hopes will boost the Ontario's export market. Hoskins says the new trade office will help Ontario businesses access Alberta's market, grow their businesses, and create jobs. Since last February and the recent shutdown of the Heinz ketchup factory, over 38,000 jobs have been lost.
A suspected U.S. drone strike has killed 5 people, including 3 senior Afghan militants. The missiles hit an Islamic seminary in northwest Pakistan. The area is often visited by senior members of the Afghan Haqqani Network, one of the most feared militant groups battling U.S. troops.
Afghanistan wants to delay a crucial security deal that would allow U.S. troops to stay after 2014. Afghan President Hamid Karzai says the deal should come into effect after the presidential election next April. Tribal elders and political leaders are gathered in Kabul where they are debating the decision. If Afghanistan agrees to the deal, about 10,000 troops will stay longer in Afghanistan. The U.S. will have control over 9 military bases. The U.S. will also have full freedom of movement by air troops, as well as full immunity for U.S. troops accused of committing crimes.
Russian authorities have released a second Canadian being held since a Greenpeace protest in September. Alexander Paul from Montreal was among 30 people arrested for protesting in the Arctic. Paul Rotsicki of Port Colborne, Ontario, was released on Tuesday. Both Canadians have been freed on bail, but it is unclear whether they will be allowed to leave the country.
And now with your sports news, here's Natalie Stoberman.
Thanks, guys. The Toronto Raptors didn't show any love to the Philadelphia 76ers as they dealt a dominating 108-98 win in the city of brotherly love. The Raptors' ball movement was what killed the Sixers, and DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gay, and Kyle Lowry put up exceptional numbers against Philly. DeRozan scored 33 points, and Gay followed up with 18 and a career-high 8 assists. Last night's win means Toronto is now in first place in the Atlantic Division, but head coach Dwayne Casey is far from celebrating.
We got a lot of work to do to get better. We're nowhere near where we need to be, so we got to stay hungry, stay aggressive, and stay in, keep the process going.
They say everything is bigger in Texas, so it's perfect that Prince Fielder will be playing there next season. The Texas Rangers and Detroit Tigers have made a blockbuster deal that will send second baseman Ian Kinsler to Detroit for first baseman Prince Fielder. Fielder, a five-time All-Star, joined the Tigers 2 years ago, signing a $214 million contract over 9 years. But this postseason showed his lowest numbers, only hitting a .225 batting average with no home runs or RBIs. Kinsler, a three-time All-Star, has been with the Rangers since his draft year in 2003 and battled with a rib injury this season. Detroit will also be sending $30 million to Texas as part of the deal. Day 12 of the Alex Rodriguez suspension hearings took an aggressive turn on Tuesday. Facing a 211-game suspension, A-Rod slammed his hand on the table and stormed out of the room when a ruling was made stating that MLB Commissioner Bud Selig did not have to testify. Rodriguez says he does not want to participate in this farce and appeared on a radio station yesterday to let out his frustrations.
I love this city. I love being a Yankee. My daughters grew up in New York. And for this guy, the embarrassment that he's put me and my family through, and he doesn't have the courage to come see me and tell me, this is why I'm going to destroy your career.
The Leafs will be taking on Nashville tonight at home. Nazem Kadri will be back in the lineup after a 3-game suspension. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock. That's all for sports. I'm Natalie Stoberman. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Natalie. After the break, we'll get the latest in entertainment from Sandra DeGrandis.
Ron Burgundy sings to Rob Ford and Lady Gaga rolls around in dirt. I'll have all that and more coming up in your entertainment update.